Hello dear students of class 10th, welcome to English class. I hope all of you are fit and healthy. Students, in this video, I shall be continuing with the 7th chapter from your first flight book, that is Glimpses of India. Students, in the last video, I explained you the first story that is given in this chapter, that is a baker from Goa. And in this video, I shall be explaining you the question answers that are given in between the chapter. So, let us start with the question answer part. As you can see on the screen, oral comprehension check is given, that is given in your book on page number 86. So, there are certain questions in this oral comprehension check. So, let us start with the first question. So, students, the first question is, what are the elders in Goa nostalgic about? What is the meaning of nostalgic? Nostalgic means reminiscing the past, that means fondly thinking about the past. So, what are the elders in Goa nostalgic about? The elders in Goa are nostalgic about the good old Portuguese days and their love for bread. As I told you that when Goa was under the rule of Portuguese, this bread making culture started, this system of bread making started, it emerged during that time. And the people of Goa, they are fond of bread. So, the elders, the author's elders, they are nostalgic about the good old Portuguese days as well as their love for bread. So, I hope the first question is clear to everybody. Now, students, we shall move to the next question, that is question number 2, as you can see on the screen. So, the question is bread making still popular in Goa? How do you know? So, students, what do you think? Is it still popular or not? Definitely, of course, bread making is still popular in Goa. Now, how can this be said that it is still popular? You know, the poet mentions, I am saying again, see, the author mentions that the eaters have gone, but the makers, they are still present. Eaters means the Portuguese, they have left. Goa is not under the control of Portuguese now, but even today the makers of bread are present. That means the mixers, the molders and the bakers. Even today furnaces are there. Even today fire in those furnaces are there. The fire has not extinguished. This shows the love of bread. This shows the love for bread. People are fond of bread, and even though the Portuguese have gone, the people who actually started this culture of bread making, but the makers are still there. This shows that the people of Goa are still, this shows that bread making is still popular in Goa. Alright, so I hope this question is also clear. You can also mention, students, that the people who used to make bread in the older days, they are not there, they are not alive, but their children are present and they are continuing that family profession. So, this shows that bread making is still very popular in Goa. Alright. Now, students, let us move to the next question, that is question number 3rd. So, the question is, what is the baker called? I already told you that a baker in Goa is called as pader. Please remember this word, that baker in Goa, they are called as paders. Alright? Okay, let us proceed with the next question, question number 4th. So, the 4th question is, when would the baker come every day? Why did the children run to meet him? So, I already told you while explaining the story that the baker came twice a day, once early in the morning to sell their bread, and the second time when the baker used to return after selling his bread. So, this way the baker came twice a day. one in the first time in the morning to sell the bread and second time while returning. So, this way the first part is clear. Now, let us come to the second part of this question. Why did the children run to meet him? See, the children ran to meet him, the children ran to meet the baker or the pader as they wanted to have bangle breads, the bread that is of the shape of bangle. They did not run to greet the baker or to buy the loaves of bread, rather they wanted to have those bangles bread, the shape of bangle like that of a, the shape of bread like a bangle. So, this is the type of bread that the children longed for. Their love for bangled bread attracted them or compelled them to run towards the baker. So that is why they ran to meet the baker. Alright. So, I hope this question is also clear to everybody. Now, students, let us come to the next page, that is page number 87. Here also we have oral comprehension check. Here also there are certain questions given. So, we will be discussing or I will be explaining them to you. So, let us start with the first one. The first one is match the following. Now, there are certain pairs, you need to match them, alright. So, the first one is as marriage gifts. So, as marriage gifts, what type of bread was used? A sweet bread called bowl. I hope you remember that for marriage purpose, bowl was used. So, this first one will match with bowl. The second one, for a party or feast. For a party or feast, what was used? A simple normal bread was used for party purpose. Alright. The third one, for a daughter's engagement. So, for a daughter's engagement, the mother of that daughter had to prepare sandwiches, which was mandatory. So, the lady of the house had to prepare sandwiches. Alright. Now, the fourth one, for Christmas. So, I hope you remember that for Christmas, cakes and bolhinas were important, they were considered essential. And what are bolhinas? Bolhinas is the other name for coconut cookies. Alright. So, I hope the first question is clear to everybody. Now, students, we shall move to the next question, question number 2. So, the second question is, what did the bakers wear? So, there are two questions given here. First, in the Portuguese days. So, I already told you that the attire of the bakers were different in the Portuguese days, and when the Portuguese had gone, the attire was different. So, let us talk about the first one, that is in the Portuguese days. So, in the Portuguese days, they used to wear a peculiar dress called cabai. So, the dress of the baker was called as cabai, and it was a single piece long frock till knees. So, that type of dress was called as cabai. Now, let us come to the second one. Now, the second part is when the author was young. So, that time the dress worn by the bakers was different. So, the author saw that the bakers wearing a shirt and trouser which were shorter than the full length ones and longer than half pants. So, basically they can be called as 3/4. So, such type of dress, such type of attire were worn by the bakers when the author was young. Alright. Okay. Now, let us come to the next question, that is question number 3. So, the third question is, who invites the comment? He is dressed like a pader. Why? So, students, any person who is wearing a half pant which reaches below the knees is referred to as or is called like a pader, because it seems that because this dress, this peculiar dress resembles the bakers or the paders in Goa. So, that is why any person who wears such type of dress is commented like a pader. Alright. this makes the people remember about the dress code of the paider. So, that is why any person who is wearing such dress is considered or is commented like a paider. Alright. Okay, let us move to the next question, that is question number 4th. So, the 4th question, as you can see on the screen, is where were the monthly accounts of the baker recorded? So, the monthly accounts of the bakers were recorded on some wall in the house with a pencil. So, they did not use any pen paper to record their accounts. It was very simple, it was not at all complex or complicated. Very simply they used to mention everything on the wall with a pencil, and at the end of the month they used to collect the bills. Alright. Okay. Now, let us move to the last question of this story, that is question number 5th. So, question number 5th is, what does a jackfruit like appearance mean? As I already told you students, jackfruit is a big fruit. It resembles, I am saying again. Now students, let us move to the last question of the story, that is question number 5th. So, the 5th question is, what does a jackfruit like appearance mean? See, jackfruit is a fruit, okay, and in this story jackfruit is compared, or jackfruit like appearance is compared to a prosperous baker. So, this basically means a plump physique. Plump means fat. This resembles fat and big. So, it resembles wealth as well as prosperity. As I already told you that during that time the bakers or the paiders, they were really rich, they were really prosperous, because this baking was a very prosperous profession during that time, and the family members of the bakers themselves as well as the servants of bakers, they were very rich and wealthy. So, any person who was fat, who was big, was considered like that of a baker. So, here jackfruit like appearance means a plump image, that means a fat and big body. Alright. So, I hope all the questions of this particular story are clear to everybody. So, students, I will meet you again in the next video with the next story, the second part, the second story, that is Kurg. Till then, thank you so much, stay safe and revise your lessons well.